This is the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast, where we follow the journey of one man as he attempts to play America's 100 greatest golf courses in a single calendar year. Ted Fenton and Michael Higgins break down and plan the golfing adventure of a lifetime that is scheduled to tee off on January 1st, 2023. Each weekly episode takes you inside the ropes to two of America's 100 greatest golf courses. Please join us each week as we talk to head PGA professionals, industry leaders, and some of the luckiest golfers on earth. Let's join Teddy and Higgy now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Teddy Fenton, one of your hosts of the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. I'm joined here with my oldest friend and high school golfing partner, Mr. Michael Higgins. How you doing this morning, Michael?
Teddy, I'm doing great, as always. It's wonderful to be here with you.
Well, we got a great show for you today. We have two amazing guests. Last week, we had a wonderful time talking with the guys at Bandon Dunes Resort. We had Jake from Bandon Dunes and Ryan from Bandon Trails. Today, we're going to continue with the Bandon, Oregon boys. Today, we are going to be talking about Pacific Dunes, and we are fortunate enough where we have Michael O'Toole, the head PGA professional for Pacific Dunes. And then later in the show, we're going to get a chance to talk to Jason Paul with Old Macdonald, which is an unbelievable course as well. So I'm so psyched that you're joining us again. We want to go right into it. So I'm gonna turn things over to my friend Mike. And Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell the folks a little bit about Pacific Dunes?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Teddy, and hi everyone. I'm extremely excited to have Michael O'Toole, the head PGA professional from Pacific Dunes, joining me today here on the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. You know, Teddy, in my research, I've been unable to find a single negative comment about this place.
You won't find one.
It currently sits at number 18 on the Golf Digest America's Top 100 Golf Courses list, number 2 on the greatest public golf courses in America list,
Wow.
and has been on the ranking since 2003, with the highest ranking being at number 14 from 2007 to 2010. Tom Doak designed the golf course, and it opened in 2001. It's the highest ranked golf course at the resort, and for good reason. This place looks absolutely magnificent. It appears natural. It appears as though it belongs exactly where it is. And many people say that it is even better than the famous Pebble Beach, with two of the best coastal par fours,
Wow.
number 4 and number 13 on the planet. And apparently every day the wind, like clockwork, the wind picks up in the afternoon at Pacific Dunes. So maybe Mike will have to tell us some insider tips later to play early if you want it a little bit easier. But one comment, Teddy, one golfer I saw commented, and he said, after 18 holes at Pacific Dunes, you're somewhere between exhausted and invigorated because, well, this place is golfer's paradise, which I think is just amazing to hear. But from the back tees, Pacific Dunes plays 6,633 yards. It's a par 71 with a rating of 73.2 and a slope of 143.
Wow.
And yes, you heard that correctly, 143. So this place is not easy. Two players share the course record at 10 under par 61. Scott Simpson and Kirk Triplett. So two pretty well-known golfers shot a couple 10 under pars. I'm assuming there were morning rounds with no wind. It was perfectly sunny, and everything just went in that day. But that's still amazing. 10 under par is just off the charts. Pacific Dunes has hosted some magnificent events. They've hosted the Curtis Cup in 2006, the inaugural Women's U.S. Amateur 4-Ball Championship in 2015, and the Men's U.S. Amateur 4-Ball Championship in 2019. They hosted. They were used for the stroke play qualifier. And then anyone who knows me knows my appreciation for a good golf course logo. And this one doesn't disappoint. It looks like two harbor seals dancing in a circle, which is a tribute to the wildlife in the area. Pretty cool logo. And this place Michael, well, first of all, Michael, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I know how busy you are. You've got a big collegiate event going on at the resort. So welcome, first of all, and thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. Teddy, thanks for bringing me along on this journey. After hearing your story on the phone, it's humbling. So really glad to be here, Michael. Thanks. Appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Yeah, God
Absolutely.
bless you, Michael. Thank you for saying that. That's kind of you.
Well, as a reminder to all our listeners, this is where it is all going to begin in 2023. Teddy's going to be teeing off at the Bandon Dunes Resort on January 1st. First group, first tee time, and I can't wait. It's going to be here before we know it, but it's really exciting. So I'm looking at this resort, Michael, and before we get into some questions for you, I mean, this place just sounds absolutely magnificent. I was doing some research on the cottages that you have the ability to stay at. There are shuttles that take you around the resort anywhere you want to go. There are 2 full practice ranges, a 1-acre practice putting green, and for those of you who are trying to put a 1-acre putting green into perspective, that's the size of a football field. And there are 2 versatile short game practice areas for everything from chip shots to sand shots. And there's also an amazing 9-hole par 3 practice course. I mean, is this the closest thing to heaven on earth for golfers?
I think you said it right there. Heaven on earth. That is a true description of Bandon Dunes. From not being here for too long, in my position as the head golf professional here at Pacific Dunes, I pinch myself daily on driving Randolph Road coming in here, through the cottages, through the overhanging trees. Then you step out of your car and you breathe that Pacific air, and it is just a special place. I was explaining to a gentleman today who pulled into my golf shop and says, "Hey, I'm playing the Preserve here in an hour. Can you tell me how to get there?" And boom, cues the golf professional in me. Boom, pull the map out. And the map of the resort is extensive, right? And so I get the pleasure of, telling this guy, this guest, of exactly where everything's at. And it turned into a 25-minute conversation because I'm trying to get every little nook and cranny. And then he walked out and I realized I missed a couple of things too. So that 25 minutes could easily have been 40-minute conversation. And, just telling the history of the property. And as he's going out, he basically says, "Hey, this is truly the Disneyland of golf." And that's not the first time we've heard that.
Nice. Did you give him a refund on his starting time since you made him late and he missed his tee time?
I did have to make a call over. There was some questionable on the timing. Yeah, absolutely, I did.
Committee error.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like there's literally something for everyone, right? If you're the experienced golfer, you want to play from the tips, you want to battle the elements, you want to battle the wind, have at it. But if you also want to go up there, practice a little bit, have some fun with a couple groups, play the par 3, practice on your game, and go out there and battle the wind. And it sounds like literally there's something for everyone.
It is. Absolutely. There's something for everyone, even the non-golfer, right? We've got miles of trails that go through the property here. Fishing, if you're a foodie down in Bandon, or even at the restaurants here on the resort, are just incredible. You can go fishing, canoeing, that wind kite surfing is big here. You won't find me doing that. However, I do. I look forward to watching that this summer. But yeah, it's absolutely is for everybody. We get the purist and the hardcore golfer here that is burning it from sunrise to sunset. Trying to play as many as you can. We've got kind of the veterans, if you will, that have been here for a long time, 20 plus years, keep returning. And they say, "Hey, we're 18 holes and then we're going to, enjoy the tap in bar at the Punch Bowl." And so we've got guys and gals, on both ends of the spectrum. So we see it all here. But it all revolves around one thing. It's just the love for the game, I think, and how pure it actually is here.
Now, so Michael, the majority of your golfers, the players, right? Are they coming in foursomes? Are they coming in small groups or big groups? Or what are the majority of your guests? And what's the average stay?
Sure. Yeah. Average stay, it is probably 4 to 6 days, anywhere in there. The average group, it fluctuates. Like I said, starting in December here at Pacific, I'm learning also. So right now we have a lot of kind of the Washington, Seattle groups that come down and it's drivable, and that have been coming here for 20 plus years with, anywhere from 16 to 40 players.
Wow.
And then sprinkled in there, we've got a lot of resort guests who are just coming down with 4 friends and ripping it. We've got a lot of first timers I'm finding too, which is my favorite customer that walks in. And you kind of have to pick their jaw up a little bit. It's like, yeah, you are here. You've waited a year to get here on the tee sheet and you're here. So what can I do for you?
You have to sell some logo chin straps to hold up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Seals.
Absolutely.
Seal the jaw.
Yeah. But it really fluctuates, on group size. These groups have just been gaining traction for so many years, right? I hear a lot of stories where, hey, we started at 8 in 2001 or even before that, and now we're at 45, right? Wow. And it's just word of mouth, and these guys go home to their clubs and tell them about the pure experience and the absolute amazing golf and amenities and service that you get here is just. If you don't go, you might not get an invite again. So,
yeah, you don't want to lose your spot.
Do not want to lose that spot. Yeah, no.
It sounds like you've got an extensive sales force, right? After you play there, now they're this marketing team across the United States and across the world, just speaking the gospel of the place and just promoting it and encouraging people to go. Which, what else could you ask for, right? Show them a great time and they're
absolutely. Yeah. Our marketing team, obviously they do a great job, but our most important person is our guests, right? And they're going and telling at least 20, 30 people of what kind of experience they just had. And 99% of them are really, really good.
Teddy's from a former life was in the automobile business. And I remember people saying, the sales team, sells the first car, and then it's the maintenance that sells the next one in the service. Yeah. It sounds like the same thing. Maybe the marketing team sells the first one, and then you guys do such a great job, and the golf course do such a great job of providing such a great product that people keep coming back.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a great model and a good way to think about it. I think once you get here and you realize, I don't know if I need to go anywhere else to get the top 5 golf courses up and down the coast.
Why?
And the different looks. I mean, you're getting a different look at every golf course. You really are. Why go anywhere else?
Well, if you draw a straight line from Boston, where I am, across, it looks really simple to get to, but it's not quite as easy as that straight line, is it? It's going to take you
correct. Yes, there is. There's always that kind of lingering unknowns, right? And one being the weather, of course. 2 being the absolute difficulty of getting here. However, if you're making that trek with 3 or 20 of your best buddies, I mean, these are stories you'll talk about for years.
Yeah. Forever. And if any of our listeners are saying, you know what, I was on the fence, I'm listening to Michael, he just sold me on going there. What do you recommend time-wise to book your trip? Is this something you should plan out 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or shorter, longer?
Well, currently, the tee sheets, I know the information we get from reservations are, we are booked out until the end of about 2023, I believe in October 2023, for groups, 8 and above. So my suggestion would be, if I did just nudge you a little bit over the edge right there to come see me at Pacific, get on the phone with reservations today for a time in 2024.
I'll second that, because when I got on the phone and talked with you boys about 2023, we had to do some shuffling around to get all 4 of them 1, 2, 3, 4, and that that's 10 months from now. So
yeah, and we'll always do our best. If we have twosome singles or a foursome, that's you sees the weather, right? It's not uncommon that if you live close in proximity, you see the weather, call up, boom. We'll do our best to get you out there, because there are some gaps, for twosomes or singles and foursomes. But, if I'm looking to do a trip and it's going to be a week and I'm going to hit every golf course and I'm playing 36 and I'm going to bring 24 players, we're booking into 24 right now.
Wow. That's pretty.
That is so
that's pretty
awesome. That's awesome.
Well, Michael, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. When
Sure.
Tilly asked me to co-host the podcast with him, one of the things I was pretty passionate about, just because of my career of 25 years working in the golf business and working for the PGA of America. I said, I want to make sure we promote the unsung heroes of the golf business, the
Yes.
PGA Professional. So I'd love our listeners just to get to know you a little bit better, and then Jason a little bit later on. But just talk to me real quick. I mean, you're pinching yourself every day now where you're at as the head professional at Pacific Dunes. But where did it all begin, the golf business? Where did it start for you?
Yeah, so I'm a Colorado native. I grew up in Broomfield, Colorado, so just north there at Denver. And I always played golf. From when I remember, my old man, Chris O'Toole, he would take me to the range, when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. I have vague memories of going out there and hitting, a sawed-off Titleist persimmon that he made, and he threw a grip on there for me. And I remember this lit-up range at night at Highland Hills Golf Course in Broomfield, Colorado, and hitting balls there. I just remember just having such a great time and us laughing. And, from there, he would set me up with lessons, and I was really getting into it, right? And I was seeing some success there, even at a young age, just to really enjoy the game and the overall camaraderie of that. But it really it started to hit in high school. I had my first job picking the range and washing up the carts at a course called Broadlands Golf Course there in Broomfield, Colorado. And then I went and worked maintenance for a short time there too. I wanted to see both sides of the operation. Really enjoyed that, right? Getting in early, getting out early, playing golf as much as you can. I think that really helped me learn, both sides of the golf course and the turf management and exactly what goes into that side. But from there, I had a golf professional there, Dave, who he was going through the PGA program at the time. I have an uncle as well in Minnesota, Marty Lass, who has kind of been a mentor to me, who's a master golf professional there in Minnesota. And so, when I started looking into golf, when I found out that University of Colorado in Colorado Springs was getting a PGM program, I was the first to sign up. I was already going to another college. However, this came about, and in 2003, it was the first class through the PGA program there at UCCS, and I couldn't sign up fast enough to get into that. But I really fell in love with the game, and I really, really enjoy the business side of golf. And how
the tagline for the PGA of America, or PGA Professionals, the experts in the business and the game of golf, right? And that's you right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it just had so much fun learning the ins and outs of, the business side of golf. And I've been under some great golf professionals who have kind of held my hand through that and, realized that, our relationships with employees and customers is where it all starts. And from there, everything falls into place. And, I've just, I've been really grateful just to take all of that in and be a sponge, really.
So if there was one PGA professional that really made you realize, what, is this the profession for me? Is that Uncle Marty, or is there another PGA professional that kind of put you
I think he really, he was an influence, when I was kind of toying with the idea of going to the PGM school there. On my first internship, Mr. Mark Cabell, PGA member at Broadmoor Golf Club in Colorado Springs, he was just a class act. And I, at that point, kind of realized I want to be that guy.
That's cool.
He's the guy that would ask me about my mom, every time that I saw him or go to work, or he would ask about family, right? He knew the job was important and us getting it done. However, I see him years later, and he says, "Hey, Michael, at a Rockies game, and hey, how's Julie doing, your mom?" And I mean, that not only solidifies what a great person he is, but what a tight community we have as PGA golf professionals also.
Yeah.
And that, from that short time, 3-month internship, I learned so much from him. and the passion that he had for service.
That's awesome, man. It's so wonderful to hear the why and the how from our PGA professionals, how they got in the business, and especially when you're starting and you're doing your apprenticeship and your internship in other parts of the country, and then you move around, and it's just this commonality, and it's the PGA professional, right? It's this connection. I remember, and Teddy remembers, Bruce Doby from Green Hills Municipal in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Big influence in my golfing life. Big.
When we were kids, maybe it was $10 to play 18 holes, and I just remember this, and it was a rundown clubhouse, and it was weathered, and the golf course, the condition wasn't that great, but man, this guy was large.
You can say it was a dust bowl, Mike.
It certainly was, but this man was larger than life with the pants and the shoes.
Yeah,
and
Bruce
the way he dressed. And
he was the man.
He was the man, and it was something. I'm like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be him.
Yeah. And that's not selling anybody short. That I've had so many great relationships of golf professionals before wearing the badge, right? But you're exactly right. We all have that one kind of guy or gal that is like, hey, I want to be like that person. And this is how you do it right and classy, and I'll never ever forget that. And I get to tell my staff now about positions like that, and that's really influenced how I manage.
Oh, especially in small communities, and a lot of small communities, the PGA professional, the golf pro, is the rock star in that community. I've seen where doctors, they send people to their voicemail, but they'll take their call from their pro, right? Oh, what? My pro's calling me. I'm taking this call, right? I mean, it's everyone else goes to my voicemail, but if my pro calls, I'm taking that call. So, but yes. So Michael, let's flip back to Pacific Dunes a little bit. Tell us how. I know you've only been there three or 4 months, but tell us, how did you get hired? How did you make your way to the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been a guest here before being employed here. I think you will get that from a couple folks. Ryan on the last episode as well.
Yeah, Ryan.
So coming here to play golf in 2017 was the last time I was here playing golf, and from there I made a promise to myself that if I ever saw anything open up at this property, I need to throw my name in the hat. I would be selling myself short if I didn't try that. I've worked so hard, working in private, public, resorts, you name it. I've tried it all, and found homes in all of those, and learned little quirks from each head golf professional, and how each one of those entities works. Our great PGA.org, I saw Bandon Dunes head golf professional pop up on there one day. That was always in, one of my favorites when you can go in and kind of choose what jobs you want to be notified on. I was Pacific Northwest. It was Bandon. That was on there. So one day that did pop up. Golf professional by the name of Brian Carlson sent me a text right away with a picture of it. He goes, "Hey, this is you. This has got you all over it." He's a guy that we talk about operations constantly. We would go in the office and say, "Man, look at how Bandon does this. Look at the marketing. Look at the website. Look at how minimal the signage is. This thing is just banged out there. It says T number 4. It looks like you're going to get lost out there." Anyway, we'd always have these cool conversations of how minimalist and how stuff we can take off the golf course. And right when I saw this post, first conversation was of course with my wife Jenna, who I can't thank enough for allowing us to make this trip. Because it's not easy. It has to be the right place and the right time in everyone's life to make the trip here. And this one just so happened to be ready, for us. So the recruitment period was over. I got a call from Mr. Scott Millhauser, one of the director of golfs here. Went through that interview process with him. That went really well. So hung up the phone with him, and I kind of had that gut feeling. So it's like, man, I really enjoyed that conversation. And, a 20-minute conversation turned into an hour and a half with Scott of just kind of going back and forth and really kind of jiving on stories. And from there, my gut was, okay, now I really need to have a talk with my wife, because I think this is going in a direction where this could work out really great. Yeah. And then I got a call from Mr. Jeff Simons and Nick Bonender, who are also golf professionals. And that was basically kind of like the second interview that I had was with those two gentlemen. And, from there, they said, hey, we're super interested. Let us know what we can do to kind of get you here. And, went back and forth, and the first question is always living situations, or what does it look like getting here. And once we had that all ironed out as best as we could, went back to my wife again. That's 3 times, and we looked at the area, and I was hesitant at first, and I thank her every day for saying, hey, this is your dream job. There's no way that we are not going out to Bandon Dunes. You're gonna be the head golf professional at the number 2 golf course you can play in the U.S. So from there, the rest is history. Honestly, I strapped on the U-Haul behind the Ranger, those Colorado plates, and I didn't know it snowed in Oregon, so it was a 3.5-day trip driving out to Oregon, and I got stuck in
your own Oregon Trail. Yeah,
I got stuck in a snowstorm right on top of Santiam Pass there, and didn't have chains for my U-Haul, and we made it down. I'm used to driving in the snow, being from Colorado, but from there it's just been a pinch yourself kind of every day, waking up, getting to come to work here every day. I
love it.
It is just one of those properties where you get here and you don't know the feel. You can't describe it until you get here. Until you walk
on the property for the first time. Well, I love the fact that, in a former life, you're kind of watching what Bandon did and how they did it. WWBD, what would Bandon do, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. Now you have the opportunity to actually influence what happens there. So that's
absolutely, yeah. That if you're looking at in the future of where par is, and we're going way above that here.
That's
for anybody to even just log online and just take a look at what we're doing is awesome. It's really
congratulations on getting the job, because I would imagine as soon as that thing posted, there must have been a line around the building.
Right. Yeah. No, I can't. Humbled and shocked, I guess. Both of those feelings came rushing into me when you get that letter, through the email of, hey, we would like to offer you to come to Bandon Dunes, and that's when kind of it really sets in that I get to be a part of something bigger, right? I mean, this everything is happening, and it's only gaining speed.
Well, something tells me you didn't get this by chance or mistake. I think it sounds like you earned this. You're a pretty talented PGA professional, and
I appreciate that.
You deserved it. So
yeah, it's been a lot of hard work, and you kind of get that feeling as a golf professional and in life that it kind of is a culmination of events that kind of lead you to a pinnacle situation. And leaving Colorado and family and things like that is difficult, but this is one of those. I don't know if it's once in a lifetime opportunity that couldn't be passed.
Well, I know PGA professionals have to give a lot of advice, right? They're like therapists or padres or, mentors in many cases. And, you've got a guy who's going to be playing here in 10 months, and he is going to be looking for some sage advice. So what do you tell the first-time Pacific Dunes golfer? What kind of advice would you give that first-time golfer and Teddy Fenton when he gets there next January?
Yeah, absolutely. Teddy, I think the best advice that I can give is when you step onto the first tee, you're going to carry a scorecard, I'm guessing. Don't keep score. Maybe we'll take a look at it and we can go through and keep score. But, my advice to a lot of people is, hey, that you are here to have a great time, relax. If you guys have games and things like that, we definitely have that going on. But how can you enjoy this, to its fullest? And, taking every step in those fairways with a group of friends, or what we're going to be is, meeting maybe for the first time in person, and building those relationships further with friends and groups, right? And so I think the best advice I can give is, just take it all in. I think every step of the way you're looking around out here and you're just like, holy smokes. So it's hard to kind of calm yourself down, right? So I think those are two sound advice things. Is, don't keep score if you don't have to. It's so much fun out here. There's 7 ways to play every different shot, and that's the beauty of it. There's 7 ways to play every single shot out here. And I think just you can hear on the first tee the Pacific Ocean just rumbling at you.
Oh, and that's awesome.
You won't realize it until you get out there to 3, and then you see 4, and you're basically at the edge of the world. And right there, you're like, man, this is the real deal. And you kind of have to take a deep breath. But I guess my best advice is just breathe, take it all in. It's a feeling like none other when you step foot on the first tee here.
That's amazing. Well,
embrace the weather. Embrace the weather. That's a mindset going into it. I think is we embrace the weather here. The worse the weather is, the better the stories that we have. It always turns out that way. It always turns out that way.
Michael, the course record we learned is 61, and I'm gonna make the call right here, right now. Okay, you're all gonna hear it here first. Teddy Fenton is going to shoot in next January. He is going to shoot 61. It may be after 12 holes, but he is going to shoot 61 at some point during his round. So,
well, I'll keep score. Yeah.
As long as I'm 61 around 61. Like 14 or 15, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was thinking more like 12, but 14 to 15 would be even better.
Yeah, there's so much advice, and the weather, obviously, that plays a huge part into it. But from an experience and an golf operations side, my mindset always just goes to kind of cherishing every step on these fairways and realize what it took to build these golf courses and some of the genius designs. Walking around property, or you'll get a very, very special feel in your gut when you're out here.
Teddy, it sounds like at some point during that round, you're going to be pinching yourself. It sounds just absolutely magical. That's
my hope. Like, Michael, as you were describing, you get to 4 and it's like, oh my God, I kind of, went back in life, and for my 30th birthday, my parents and father put together a trip to go to the Old Course and get to play the R&A. And I remember as a 30-year-old standing on the tee at number 1 at the Old Course in Scotland with my dad. And, you see your name, T. Fenton and Ed Fenton, on the tee sheet. And I could not keep it together. I literally, I'm about to tee off, and I just took one look around and was like, wow, Teddy, you're here. This is the birth of golf. You are standing on the tee where they invented the game. And I looked at my dad, and I got choked up, and I almost started bawling on the first tee. And I was like, Dad, why don't you go ahead and tee off? I need a minute. And he ripped one down the middle, and I got up and, hit it way too hard and way too far, and went in that first dink, that first creek right in front of the first hole. But the caddy looked at me and he said, dude, don't worry about it. Just enjoy every single moment that you're here and try to take in every look and every shot and everything that's going on. And that was the greatest advice. And you just kind of gave it to me when I'm out at Pacific Dunes. And I'm just, thinking about that experience I had at the Old Course. That's really maybe the only round of golf that I was completely present for every single shot. So my desire and my hope is that when I try to tackle America's 100 greatest courses, that I'll be able to bring that energy or that focus to each individual track and really just suck it in and enjoy the whole experience, even, chili dipping a 60-yard shot and then, having a 40-yard putt afterwards. So I'm so psyched. This is really pumping me up. Thanks for being here, Michael. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael, again, we can't thank you enough. I've really enjoyed having you on our podcast. I know how busy you are. Again, I know you're hosting a major collegiate event. To be able to step away and give us a few minutes of your time. You're very gracious, and you've been an awesome guest. I can't thank you enough.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys. I really appreciate it, Teddy. I'm looking forward to this and tuning in every week, especially, and just listening to what you guys got going on. But more so meeting you and being on this journey with you. And looking forward to it.
Well, I'm psyched. I mean, you and I are on the tee sheet for the second,
Yep.
January 2nd. I think our time's nine something. But
Yep.
I'm working on getting 2 more players. We'll see what happens. Things are coming together amazingly, miraculously, and I can't wait to get out there with you, Michael. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a really good time.
Awesome. Well, God bless, Michael. Thanks again for joining us, and wish you all the best if you ever make it out to Boston. You've got a friend out there on the East Coast.
Great. Thank you, you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Take care.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Coast to Coast Hole-in-One. Add some excitement to your next charity, corporate, or even member guest golf event by including a hole-in-one prize on all of the par 3s. Whether the prize is a new car, a golf vacation, cash, or even a new set of clubs, we have a prize option for every budget. So be sure to visit coasttocoastholein1.com and have their friendly staff help you enhance your next event with Hole-in-One Insurance. Coast to Coast Hole-in-One has you covered from coast to coast.
Teddy, that was awesome. That was so much fun to learn about Pacific Dunes. Michael is an amazing guest and amazing PGA professional, and I really look forward to hearing how your round next year goes at Pacific Dunes, because with a slope at 143, Michael shared a story with us off camera about Tom Watson, and everyone knows how amazing Tom Watson is, and he played around at Pacific Dunes, and needless to say, the golf course won that day. He posted a score in the mid 80s, really kind of struggled, left there, got on a plane, headed to Hawaii for the Champions Tour event, and won the event 85, and then I think he shot the low round of the tournament. Was it the course record, the low round in the tournament? But absolutely amazing, and what a great story, and it's going to be a real treat for you. But I think we're equally as excited to have our next guest on the podcast, and I'm going to pass the mic over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Mike. We've got Old Macdonald at the Bandon Dunes Resort up next, and we're going to invite Jason Paul on a little bit to talk about his experience and a little bit about his time at Old Macdonald. But just a couple of facts about this beauty of a golf course. It's ranked number 56 right now on America's 100. It is just, an amazing track. Nicknamed Old Mac, the course illuminates true links style and even boasts the largest greens in North America. And that's not a typo. The greens can span 60 yards in length, which is kind of the norm, placing a heavy emphasis on both distance control with approach shots and touch with lag putts. And Mike, when you sent me that quote, I was like, holy smoke, you could have a 60-yard shot. If you chili dip it, you're still on the green, but you're going to have a 40-yard putt. So just blew me away. It was originally founded in 2010. Tom Doak and Jim Urbina are the course architects. A few stats on the course. The course par is 71. Yardage from the back tees is 69.44. The rating is 76.4. So the slope is 134.
Putting greens that big, I'm thinking you've got to have everything from being able to chip with a 56 degree to chip with a 8 iron to maybe work the rescue going. I mean, that's you've got to use almost every weapon in the arsenal or greens that big. That's pretty That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the guy that used it that was Casey Martin, who is the golf coach at the Oregon Ducks, and he holds the course record at Old Macdonald with a 64, 7 under.
Wow.
We had talked about this earlier with the other two golf courses, and as well with Pacific Dunes. Mick the Barber Peters and his son and two other family friends have are the group. The ceremonial group is the ceremonial foursome. And they did that at Old Macdonald as well. I know Old Macdonald has hosted a U.S. Amateur Floorball Championship in 2019, and they have a number of USGA championship events coming to the courses, including the U.S. Junior Amateur that's going to be at Bandon Dunes and Bandon Trails. But Mike and I have always talked about the logos of these courses, and it's a really cool logo at Old Macdonald. It's a dedication to CB Macdonald, the architect of national golf links and a number of amazing courses. The first coined golf course architect in the United States, CB Macdonald. He was a founder of the USGA and winner of the very first U.S. Amateur. But today we have representing the golf course the head PGA professional, Jason Paul. He started at Pacific Dunes in 2014 as an intern and got the head professional position there, the head PGA pro, in February of last year. So we're honored and delighted to have him on. Jason, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing real good. Thanks for having me on. Been really looking forward to this since you came and approached us about it. And I'm ready to jump in and get started and talk a little bit about golf and talk a little bit about Old Mac.
Well, that's awesome.
That's great.
I'm so psyched to have you here. You've been in the golf business for a long time, but what was your first gig? Like, tell us the story of how you got your start in the golf business.
It's kind of interesting listening a little bit to Michael's earlier. He talked about getting in, being start off young with his dad cutting clubs, persimmon woods down for him, and my story kind of is the same way. When I was a young man, my grandfather owned a carpet cleaning business, and the way he got free membership at our local 9-hole course was he offered to clean carpets and get a membership.
Love the barter approach.
Oh, it was great. And the best part is when we moved, when my parents decided to move up from the LA area up to Northern California, my dad took over that carpet clean business for him. And so we got that same deal from the golf course, the Paradise Pines golf course there in Paradise, California. And so I grew up playing golf with around the age of 2.5, 3 years old. My dad cut down some irons, played golf at that 9-hole course almost every day. That's almost not even an exaggeration. But I played golf there for a number of years. And when I was about 14 years old, we got a brand new PGA Professional. I can't remember his last name. I know his name was Chris. And he took a liking to our family because we were there so often. And he knew I was getting ready to go into high school. And so we kind of did a little kind of an under the table deal where they had a very small, very not well kept range where they just need someone to go out there for an hour and just quickly pick up some golf balls. So I did that. I only made about $15-20, maybe a day if I did it, but it was better than paying for top flights. I could actually get some golf balls and compete in high school against some of these really good kids in the area. So I started off with that. He took off shortly after that, and the owners kind of the son and the cousin took over the golf course operations. So they hired me inside the golf shop, which it was actually kind of really slow in there, just because a lot of the members would just drive by in a cart. You'd wave to them and just put them in the sheet, and that was it. No one ever really came in and checked in with you. So they had some new positions open on the agronomy crew. And I said, that's where I need to be, is I want to be on the agronomy crew. I want to kind of see what goes into the maintenance of a golf course, what makes it tick. Why are we closed on frost delays? And, I didn't really quite understand how that all works. So I figured if I wanted to have a better understanding as a golfer about the game, I need to understand as well what goes into upkeeping a golf course to make it where we can go out and enjoy this beautiful game. And just kind of, starting with that, and being in the agronomy side was a blast. I loved every second of it. When I graduated high school, I stayed with the agronomy crew for a short time, and eventually sought after becoming, a golf professional, and went from there. So I went to a school called the Golf Academy of America. I went to the Carlsbad section down in Southern California.
My neck
And
of the
they do
woods.
play. That's right, and they do play. They did play in tournaments, but there wasn't like school against school. It was just kind of your classmates versus you. We'd do a tournament once a week, and it also gave a lot of the upperclassmen, the guys that were getting ready to graduate, they would have to run the tournaments, so that way they got the experience. So when they graduated and they started at their first course, they would already have the experience of how to set up scorecards, make scoreboards, calligraphy, all that stuff. So it was pretty awesome. So I really enjoyed my time there, and the tournaments were a lot of fun. We played some really good golf courses.
Well, it sounds like you were surrounded by tons of PGA professionals on that ride. Was there one in particular that kind of stood out and, mentored you to a degree and said, "Hey, let's have a conversation. Why don't you do this, that, and the other thing?" Was there a guy that helped you get into the business?
It's so hard to pick one guy, because there have been so many on my journey where, I'd have one in my life, and then, maybe he got a job somewhere else, pursued another journey in his career. And then the next person would step in, and it just seemed like the mentorship just continued on. Right. I would say the PGA professionals, though, that really influenced me when I got into golf, though, and again, too many to really count, but the professionals at the Golf Academy of America, I mean, these are guys that, it's one thing to teach, amateurs how to swing a golf club and, read greens and stuff like that. But these are PGA guys who have been there, done that. They know the business inside and out, and they're trying to teach us young kids how to be true professionals of the game. And, just thinking back, I know how tough that job had to have been, because it was just like a regular college. I mean, you had the kids that, they're there, they're having fun, and you had the serious kids, but, you're trying to get your point across. You're trying to get these guys ready for what's out there. So I have nothing but a lot of respect for them. But there was a number of them that helped me along the way in how I would approach teaching, how would I approach the business side of it. And there is one gentleman in particular who we talked a lot of business, talked a lot about different golf courses, what my future, my career was going to be like. And he really challenged me when I graduated. When I graduated, I was ready to go back home to Northern California and just kind of pursue a golf career until, just to get started. I knew a lot of the golf courses there, I knew a lot of people there, and I wanted to just kind of get started somewhere I knew. And he sent me an email, and I wish I could find it. I know I have it saved somewhere, but I couldn't find it. But he sent me an email, and he challenged me. He said, "Jay, we didn't go through all this schooling just for you to go back home to your mom and dad. Okay, you need to go to Bandon Dunes Golf Resort." And that's kind of how I got up here. Is he gave me the director of golf's email, phone number. He said, "I want you to email him. I want you to set up an interview for whether it's an internship, an assistant professional position, whatever it is. You need to go somewhere like Bandon Dunes Golf Resort."
Wow. Sage advice.
Yeah.
So I guess that leads in perfectly to the next question about like, what was the deal? How did you ultimately get the head job at Old Macdonald?
Yeah. So just going back to the story of how I first got challenged to come to Bandon Dunes. I didn't know a whole lot about Bandon at the time. It's so funny. There's so many people that knew about Bandon Dunes, but they never referred to it as multiple golf courses. Like, oh, if you ever get a chance, you got to play the Bandon Dunes golf course someday. Such a great golf course. So when Buzz emailed me, and he was telling me a little bit about the history of Bandon and why he wanted me to go there, and he showed me that it was one of the top golf resorts in the country. Pacific Dunes, I think that year was ranked number 2 in 2014, just behind Pebble Beach. And I just kind of thought to myself, I was like, yeah, a kid fresh out of college is going to get a job right at the number 1 golf resort in the country.
Hey, why not?
But why not? And so I said, you know what? I like a good challenge, so I'll give it a go. So I contacted Jeff Simons, who was our director of golf at the time, and we set up an interview. I was back at home, but I didn't really have great cell reception. So the only place I could go was to my best friend's attic and do it from there. So, and he's got 2 kids that absolutely love and adore me, and I love and adore them. So they're banging on the doors, and I'm trying to do this interview to get to Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. And it's so funny because I thought he couldn't hear him. I thought I was very strategic. And he stops the interview. He goes, hey, wait. He goes, do you got kids? He's like, are those your kids back there making all that noise? I was like, no, those are my nephews. They're really excited because I just got home from college and they just can't wait to spend time with me and yada yada. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, so you're babysitting them? I go, yes, I'm babysitting them right now. He goes, okay, well, you already know how to do the hard work then. And so I thought that was kind of funny. And so we finished the interview, and to my surprise, he goes, well, I love everything about your interview. I love your resume. The internship's yours if you want it.
Wow.
And it was kind of funny because he's like, yeah, the internship, it's yours if you want it. I'll give you a few days to think on it. We need you to start probably in the beginning of May. And this was about middle of February when, or beginning of March when we had this interview. And I was like, okay, 2 months. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get back to you. And I had another interview with another golf course. Couldn't tell you what the golf course was. I remember doing the interview, and I'm driving home with my dad. I picked him up from work, and I'm driving back, and I'm just like, Bandon Dunes is such a great opportunity, but I don't know if I can wait 2 months to get paid. This golf course wants to hire me in the next week. And literally a minute after I said that, I get a phone call from Jeff Simons, and he's like, hey, we just had some movement happen here at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. We need you to start in 2 weeks. Can you be here in 2 weeks? And I said, absolutely. So I came here and I started my internship in 2014. I did Bandon Dunes and guest services. I stayed in guest services until a assistant position opened up over at Bandon Trails. Worked over there as an assistant, and then got moved over to Pacific Dunes, became the first assistant under our now director of golf, Nick Bonander, and moved back to Bandon about 2 years later to be their first assistant. And then last year got the promotion up to Old Macdonald. So with the exception of the new course, Sheep Ranch, I have been at all 4 courses here, and everyone's been different. Everyone's been phenomenal. A
true tour of duty.
That's right.
A true tour of duty. You've seen the whole facility, the whole operation. Man, so you're so we've got to throw this question out, Teddy. Which one's your favorite? You've worked at 4. What do you think? Are you a little partial as the head professional Old Mac, or?
Oh, man, and you know what? Each head pro that I worked for is still here. In fact, I'm sure 2 of them are listening with a glass up against the door right now. Every course is so different. I would have to say my favorite one that I worked for was the first one, which was Bandon Trails, in terms of being an assistant. I really felt like that laid the groundwork out for me in really evolving here as a member of the team here at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. It's a gorgeous golf course. It's very different compared to the other 3. And it was just a lot of fun to talk to. When you work at Bandon Trails, it's not just the 18-hole course. You also got the 13-hole par 3 Bandon Preserve. So you get 2 different types of guests that are coming in, some for the 18, some for the 13. So it was a lot of fun to talk to each and every one about both courses and how to play them, and, just the designs of each one. Core and Crenshaw designed both courses, so we got to talk a lot about Core and Crenshaw, and it was just a blast to work over there. Very, very fast paced, a lot of people coming and checking in, so that's always great too, when you can keep busy just by speaking with your guests and enjoying their enthusiasm and their enjoyment of what's about to come, or
bringing your A game every day. bring the A game
Exactly.
every day. Yeah,
Exactly.
So
that's awesome.
you've had your fill of the Bandon Dunes Resort. You've touched on just about every course that's there. But getting back to Old Mac, can you share a story of the creation of Old Macdonald that maybe not a lot of people know about?
Absolutely. One of the cool things about Old Macdonald that when I took over being the head pro over at Old Macdonald, I wanted to get this information out to our guests because it's quite unique. So Old Macdonald, what most people don't realize about Old Mac is we are considered a template design golf course. So every hole out there, with the exceptions of 7 and 14, is a template design from the very first coined architect of America, C.B. Macdonald. Hence why we call the course Old Macdonald. It's kind of a dedication course to the work he's done, building, obviously national golf links. That's where a lot of the templates first originate from that he brought over his time studying in St. Andrews.
Isn't that Mr. Kaiser's favorite golf course? Old National Golf
From
Links?
what I understand, that is his favorite golf course he's ever played, or at least one of his favorites that he's ever played. And obviously National Golf Links being on the East Coast, Mr. Kaiser decided, you know what, we need to have something on the West Coast. And Old Macdonald came to be. And it's such a blessing of a golf course because it's so much fun. We get quite a bit of golfers from Scotland and Ireland and England that come play this golf resort. And even before I took over as head pro over at Old Macdonald, I would hear these guys come in after their rounds of golf. Maybe I'm working a tournament for them or they're playing my golf course next. And I'd ask them, hey, how was your round at Old Macdonald today? Isn't it a great course? And they're like, and all these guys from Europe are like, man, that is the closest to home that I've ever been, and just absolutely love it. And
the ultimate compliment.
We've been really, it is quite the compliment. And we've even been blessed with a couple of interns from Scotland that I played Old Mac with them many, many times, and they'll actually describe how they play this particular hole over in Europe when they go play their golf courses. And it's just, it's a real treat. And again, not a lot of people know that this is a template design golf course. So we're really trying to get the word out there. My staff is phenomenal in doing that. And we want to make sure everyone knows that there's more to Old Macdonald than just a link style golf course. And it's a blast.
Well, having said that, is there any advice that you could offer a guy like me who's never played the track coming out for the first time? I believe you and I have a January 3rd tee time, sometime maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, right around then. Still working on 2 more players, but what can you share with me and the rest of the audience here to help us get around Old Macdonald?
One of my favorite pieces of advice I give is kind of similar to what Michael O'Toole said about Pacific Dunes earlier, and that is, enjoying the moment. When you step up to that first tee and you see the big greens and the big bunkers, you're immediately taken back to what you see in the Open Championship. You're taken back to those Scottish days of old, and it's unbelievable. It's every hole is so unique. Whenever you go play maybe your home course or anything, there's a few holes that you just kind of throw to the wayside where it's like, yeah, okay, it's an okay hole, but I don't really care for it that much here. And that's not how it is at Old Mac. Every hole has a bit of history to it. And we actually have a sheet of paper that we give to everyone that's never played the course before, that Tom Doak was so gracious to put together, that has a hole by hole description of Old Macdonald. And so every time you step up, cool, you have this piece of paper and you read about it. You read about the hole, where it kind of came from, where C.B. Macdonald has placed those holes in his career as well as an architect. You're just kind of taken by history there. You're just kind of in awe of each and every hole out there.
Talk about insider knowledge. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And the other piece of advice I'd give is Old Macdonald's one of those courses where we talked about the big greens, big fairways, is your long irons to your hybrids, even your 3-wood can be your best friend around the greens. Wedge play with the tight lies we have may not be always the best play. I've seen guys, this is how I've lost many events to our director of golf, where I'm trying to hit a wedge from 100 yards in, and I put it about 20, 30 feet away, feeling good about hitting these enormous greens, as we talked about earlier. And he'll take a hybrid or a 3-wood and just bump it up there and put it to about 10 feet. And it's just amazing to watch. And so I've started kind of getting on that train, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like, Michael said about Pacific. You can play a hole 7 different ways out there, and Old Mac is no exception. You can play that, each hole so many different ways, and it can be so much fun. I mean, I remember Tiger Woods talking about link style golf, and he made a comment, something along the lines of, the reason why he loves link style golf so much is you have to use your creativity out there.
Yeah.
And you never play the same shot twice when you're out there. And it's true. I've probably put my ball in the same spot every time on certain holes at Old Mac, and I play it 7, 8 different ways, just depending on the wind, the conditions, the firmness of the greens. It's amazing how creative you have to be at Old Mac, but yet it's so much more fun that way. It's not the standard hit your drive, hit a iron or a wedge onto the green, and either 1-putt, 2-putt, in. You actually have to kind of manage those mounds, manage those greens, and it's a blast out there.
Oh man, I am so looking forward to it. Just listen here, talking and describing, I'm almost drooling. I can't wait to get out there. One thing that we like to close with is, you've been at the facility, Pacific or Bandon Dunes Golf Resort, for a number of years. Is there one special moment or memory that you witnessed that you'll never forget during your time as the head pro at Old Mac, or really your time at the facility? Is there something you could share with us?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've seen and worked with and gone through here at Bandon Dunes Golf Resort. To pick a specific memory is definitely going to be tough. But the one thing that does come to mind is I've in my short time at Old Macdonald, I've actually helped out a couple of family and friends where they had someone that absolutely loved either the golf resort or, more specifically, the Old Macdonald golf course. And that individual may have passed away, and the family and friends wanted to do something special, to commemorate that. And being that this golf resort, or Old Macdonald, being their favorite place on earth, as we talked about, it's golf Disneyland. And they'll contact our reservations team, who contacted me, and I'm always for it. I'm like, yes, let's get something put together. And to see them go out there, and whether it's hitting ceremonial shots over the coast into the ocean, whether it's the spreading of ashes, those are kind of the big aha moments for me here at the Dunes. It's not just it's not just the everyday people are just here to play golf, maybe buy some merch, or go play the punch bowl and have dinner, and that's that. You really see a connection with, as a head pro, or even a first assistant here, that you really see a connection with the guests when you get these individuals, you get these phone calls saying, hey, we had this happen, we would really love to do something to commemorate, and we're always for it. We want to help out any way we can. We want to make sure that we do something special for them every time they're out here. So those are the moments that I'll always remember out here, because they don't know me, I don't know them, but yet now we have a connection because we share those moments. And there's still a couple of those individuals where I've stayed in contact with them, whether it's because we took photos, we took videos, we made the experience as enjoyable as possible for them. And that's just something I'll never forget here.
Beautiful, man. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad you had a chance to bring that up, because that's not something that you would think to hear about a golf course. But I'm so glad you shared that. That was super touching, and I can't thank you enough again for the time that you gave us today. Again, folks, getting to talk with a head PGA professional at a top 100 course for almost a half an hour is, it's not easy. So I'm super appreciative of your time and your willingness to help on this adventure, golfing adventure of a lifetime. And I'm so glad you're going to be joining me on the links on the 3rd of January at Old Macdonald. I don't know who the other two are, but we're going to put together a nice foursome and have a lot of fun. And that's it for me. Michael, do you have anything else that you want to ask Jason when we have him?
No, I'm just wiping the tears out of my eyes here after that story. That's part of the unsung hero ness of a PGA professional that I talked about before.
Yeah.
To impact somebody's a family's life and be able to provide that experience. I'm so glad you shared that story. That was great. So I'm thrilled to have you on the episode. I can't get out to the Bandon Dunes Resort fast enough. You guys make it sound absolutely amazing from the second you step on the property to the second you leave. It just literally sounds like Disneyland for golfers. It really does. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, guys. I really had a blast. I always love talking golf, and this has been phenomenal.
Awesome. I'm so glad you joined us. Folks, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. We just had Jason Paul, the head PGA professional of Old Macdonald. Get on the phone, book some tee times because they fill up fast. I'm so looking forward to getting to play the golf course and spending some more time with you, Jason. Like I said, thanks so much for your time. God bless you, and we'll be in touch. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you
All
very
the best.
much.
Thank you, Jason. Take care.
Take care,
Thank
Jason.
you.
Thanks, Ben.
You
Absolutely.
know, Teddy, another special place, another special episode of The Luckiest Golfer on Earth, and can't wait to see you play those four golf courses. Super excited. If one of these days I am going to put together a golf bucket list, and these four places are going to be on the top of my list for sure.
They should be on the top of everyone's bucket list. This place is magical, and I can't wait to get there. So we will be back next week with two more of the top 100 golf courses to talk about, and hopefully two more head pros to bring more light and experience and knowledge to these golf courses that I'm going to attempt to play in 2023. I can't thank you enough for your time. Please visit our website at luckiestgolferonearth.com and sign up on our email list to get all the latest luckiestgolferonearth.com information and deals and the latest episode of the podcast. And that's it for me. Michael, do you have anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
No, I'm great, Teddy. Thanks again for letting me be your co-host, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
God bless everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Luckiest Golfer on Earth podcast. Please visit our website at luckiestgolferonearth.com and join our email list for all the latest exclusive updates and opportunities. We are working on a lot of fun surprises, and email subscribers will be the first to know. Have a great week, everyone, and may God bless all of you.